I have been a historian for about 25 years now. Come join me for a tour of my library. These are my husband's shelves. When we met, he only owned one book, or rather he only had one book over here. He'd just moved over from the States, but the one book was Lord of the Rings, so I decided I could live with that. And here we get into my shelves, starting with the J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis shelves, and then Discworld starts behind Tom Paris there. And then the middle shelf is just all Discworld and Robin Hobb. And the shelf below that is all Discworld. And the shelf below that is mostly Robin Hobb, and then some more fantasy. Down at the bottom, we have fantasy and ghost stories. These shelves are my workbooks, so lots and lots of academic and scholarly studies and primary source collections. Ghost stories, witchcraft, magical practices. These are a bit hidden behind my books, but there's dress history in there. And general history starting there, more death, more witches. And then we've got kind of general history starting down here. These are my kind of general history books from various different periods, particular focus on ancient because that's my original specialism. Down here is the outsize books, just like my university library used to do. The really, really big books. So a whole mix of subjects, but too big to go on the other shelves. Over here is science fiction and fantasy, general and several layers deep. Up at the top is collections of ghost stories relating to particular places. And this is my shelfie. These are books that I have either written or I've written a chapter of them. So a lot of them are edited collections. I've written one chapter. One of them is my monograph, some of them I've edited. And then of course, these are my author copies of the Creepy Classics books, my short story collections, and there's boxes of them on the floor because I will be selling at a craft fair at Himley Hall on Sunday. Over here, we've got primary sources, primarily ancient, some medieval. Over here, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. The middle shelf is detective and mystery. Top shelf is just kind of random, general fiction. And I think that's general non-fiction down at the bottom. Over here, academic books I don't use so often, tucked behind two violins, a guitar and a keyboard. We've now shifted to the living room, which is where the travel books live because they are also souvenirs. And then I've got my photo albums down the bottom there. And finally, we finish off in the bedroom with the bedside table, the bedside collection of folklore and magic. This is basically my physical TBR, as well as the electronic TBR, which is even bigger. And then the very bottom shelf hidden behind the magazine rack we won't dwell on, that is disgraced authors. I'm not getting rid of those books for a combination of personal reasons and work reasons, but they don't need to be on display. So they're hidden away in the bottom corner behind the magazine rack in the bedroom.